Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video I'm going to take a look at a 60% keyboard which doesn't cost a lot of money and is fully customizable, or if you want to, you can just buy it as a pre-built system. This is the Keychron V4 ISO 60% keyboard. Now the ISO bit is very important for those of you that live in the United Kingdom, or perhaps if you're in some of the other European nations, because Keychron, they're looking after us and they've got these keyboards tailored to our exact specifications. So if you have regional layouts that aren't covered in the USA layout, then these are going to be right up your street. Now you can find out all the versions that are available from the links in the video description. I should say straight away, this has been sent to us free of charge for review purposes by the good people at Keychron, and also the links in the video description are affiliated, so we may earn a very small commission from any purchases made. Doesn't affect the price you pay, and potentially if you use discount codes, you may even get it cheaper than displayed. So just wanted to make that clear before we carry on. And also I would like to make it clear that the 60% actually isn't my favorite. I'll be completely honest with you. Now I know there's a lot of you out there that watch the channel which are really liking the 60% layout. For me personally, I'm liking to have arrow keys and a number pad and all that kind of stuff. The V4 is available in a full-size version as well, so if this is something you like the look of, but you want a full-size or even a 75% 10 keyless version, those are available as well. But I wanted to take a look at the 60% version to see if it's something that I could actually transition to. And to be fair, with a little bit of work, I probably could do. But for those of you that just like 60%, this is going to be right up your street. So to start off, what is the Keychron V4? So this is basically a DIY custom mechanical keyboard. Now, like I said, you can buy this in the individual component parts and you can assemble it to your own exacting specifications. Or if you're lazy like me or just want a finished product and you don't want to go through all the hassle, then you can get the fully built model. Doesn't really cost you anything else, and actually probably costs you a little bit less having the fully made up version, and at least you know it's all been done and tested and works straight out of the box. Now you have the option with this of having two switches from the factory, both of which are the Keychron K Pro switches. You've got the option of the red switch or the brown switch. So if you want a kind of quieter, more linear feel to your switch, you can go with the K Pro Reds. If you want something which has got a little bit more of a tactile bump and more similar to the Cherry MX Browns, you can go with the K Pro Browns. They are a very similar sort of feeling or sensation if cherry switches are your thing. Now for those who don't know, the V range from Keychron is the kind of value or budget orientated range. So you can obviously spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a custom keyboard, especially one of this kind of quality. But if you want to save a few pounds, then the V range is the way to do it. And one of the ways they do this is by using an ABS plastic housing. Now inside the PCB and also the steel plate, the switches, the stabilizers, all very high quality, but they do save a lot of money by using an ABS plastic surround. So if that's something, again, saving a bit of money, if that's of interest to you, then it's definitely worth checking out the V series. Anyway, I've rattled on for way too long. Let's take a look, see what this thing's all about. So as you can see from the packaging, Keychron V4, sleek, compact, customizable mechanical keyboard. And it does most of that due to the fact that this uses a open source firmware. So you can go in there and do things with it, program it, change what the keys do, change your RGB lighting styles, create macros, all that kind of stuff. But you don't have to rely on Keychron themselves to every now and then periodically relieve you with a new BIOS or a new firmware to update. Essentially, you can do it all yourself to make it basically exactly as you want it to be. Also, again, with it being open source, then there isn't really any things that you can't change. So if you want to swap out the switches, you can do, swap out the keycaps, all that kind of stuff. You can just do exactly whatever you want to and customize it to make it your own, or just keep it as it is out of the box. I think you'd be very happy. Now talking about some of the specifications of this, so 1000 Hz polling rate, as you'd expect from a mechanical gaming keyboard. Also it supports the QMK or the launcher to actually go in and make customizations, so you don't have to install any software on your computer. All of this is done via a web management interface, which works on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, basically whatever you want to use, as long as you've got access to a web browser. And also when it goes to compatibility, this keyboard with the other models in the Keychron range all have a specialized switch. So this will allow it to be either a Windows keyboard or to be a Mac OS keyboard. The physical switch on the back will change the key inputs. And also included in the box, there is a set of Windows and Mac compatible keycaps. So depending on which operating system is your preference, you can leave those on there. Now from the factory, Keychron keyboards come generally with the Mac keys on them. Don't worry, there's instructions inside which give you a full layout of which keys to change if you want to make it into a Windows layout. Okay, so that's enough of that. Let's get on to the exciting part. Let's take a look and see what we actually get here. So obviously, you're going to get the keyboard. And the keyboard itself, actually, quite weighty, very good construction quality, even though it is primarily plastic, but there's a lot going on in here, but we'll take a look at that a little bit closer as we go through the video. Let's take a look at the accessories and see what we actually get. So there's all the kind of usual stuff you'd expect. So telling you how to insert key switches correctly and how to be gentle with them so you don't damage them. Pretty much straightforward stuff, but if you're new to this, then they've got you covered. It's not a problem. Also comes with a handy quick start guide as well, which takes you through the whole process of swapping over the keys, telling you which ones are supposed to be changed over, and also tells you about the warranty and also a brief tutorial, all of which can be found online as well. There's also a very detailed instruction manual, which goes through telling you what the keys do, hotkeys, etc., how to change the RGB, and what you should expect to find inside the box. Also included, there is a set of additional keycaps. So this is to change from the locales from US, UK, and also the Mac to Windows key. So the Command key gets replaced with the Alt key or the Windows key, whichever it is. Also, because this is a customizable keyboard, so obviously you're going to get a keycap puller. So this is used to remove the keycaps from your keyboard. Very easy to do. And this is a nice solid Keychron branded one. You also get a very basic switch puller as well. So if you do want to swap out some switches, you can do very easily. They are all hot swappable as well, so no issues there. You also get a screwdriver, some replacement brass screws, some deck screws, and also a hex or Allen key wrench, as we call them here in the UK. So if you want to disassemble it, you can do very easily. And when it comes to connectivity, this is a USB Type-C device. So it comes with a USB Type-C to USB Type-C cable, nicely braided, 1.8 meters in length. And for those of you dinosaurs that don't have USB Type-C on your device, don't worry, Keychron have got you covered. There is a USB Type-C to USB Type-A adapter included in the box. So now let's take a closer look at the keyboard itself. So as you can see from the top deck, you've got these nice keys on here, which are various different colors. So you've got the highlighted red Keychron key in the top corner. It's kind of an orangey red. That can be swapped out. There are 3 different escape keys included, depending if you're using Windows or Macintosh. And also, again, you've got the keys. These are using the OSA profile, and these are also compatible with any Cherry MX style stems. So if you do want to swap out all of the keycaps, you certainly can do. Something which I like about this, which you don't often see on Keychron keyboards, is the fact that these are actually shine-through ABS keycaps. They are double shot, and it does mean that the illumination will shine through. So you can see the illumination even when you're in darker environments, obviously, as long as you have the RGB lighting on. With this particular model from the V series, there isn't actually an option of not having shine-through keycaps, so for some people that is probably going to be a plus. As you can see from the actual layout, so this is a UK appropriate layout, as it says from the ISO. So we've got our full-size enter key. We've also got our localizations on the 2 and the 3 key, and obviously the @ symbol is in the correct place, as is the hashtag key. So yeah, it's all pretty much ready to go if you're in the UK or any of the other ISO covered regions. When it comes to the actual deck itself, so the actual outside plastics, ABS plastics, these are translucent, so there is a little bit of bleed through from the RGB lighting, and also gives you a very nice look to it. Looking from the back, you can also see the translucent ABS back, which also reveals the silicone layer in the back there for sound dampening. The keyboard itself is made up of multiple layers, as you're probably seeing from an exploded view on the screen right now. So that gives you an idea of the complexity of this keyboard and also the quality of the sound dampening. Again, being this is pretty much aimed at the DIY market as well, don't be worried if you do want to take it apart. It's not going to invalidate any warranty, and in fact they do actively encourage it for the DIY market. Now when it comes to the keyboard itself, in terms of its ergonomics, so you can use it flat on the desk. There are rubber mounts in all the corners there to keep it nice and stable on your desk. If you do want to adjust the rake somewhat, you've got 2 stage feet on the back, so there is a small set. Put those down, and then you can raise it and put the high set up, so giving you a slightly higher angle of attack. When it comes to the switches, so this is using the K Pro switches. Again, red or brown ones are options if you go for the completely ready-made one. If you want to go for a custom, obviously you can put in pretty much whatever switches you want to. This supports up to 5-pin switches, so yeah, the world is your oyster. Go for whatever you like. Also, the stabilizers, really nice stabilizers in here, and rather than being those kind of cheap push-in ones, these are actually really nice pre-lubed stems and switches in this keyboard, so everything's pre-lubed, ready to go, and they are actually removable stabilizers with screws, and there's also spare screws included should you lose one. Now, of course, all of the work that's gone into this to lubricate the switches and also the ABS plastics, the silicone dampeners, the gasket layers, etc., are what give it its unique sound. So let's take a listen to see what it actually sounds like. I don't know about you, but I really like the sound of this. I think it sounds absolutely cracking. Now, for some people, you may want to go with the red switches to make it a little bit quieter, depending if you're in an office environment. If you're using this at home, I think this is going to be absolutely fine, and actually isn't that distracting. I suppose we should plug this in so you can see what it's actually like, and also we'll take a look at the launcher software so you can see how that works, or the launcher app, I should say, because it isn't technically software because it's web-based. On the back, for connectivity, a single USB Type-C connection, nice and easy to access as well, which is something which, if you're going to be using this as possibly a portable keyboard, maybe you're using it at home and also you're going to take it to work because you just love using it, then you can do that. And also on the back there's a switch, so that toggles between the Windows and the macOS layouts, also suitable for Android. So now with the keyboard plugged in, you can see what it looks like, and yeah, I think it looks absolutely stunning. If you like RGB and you like a little bit of shine through on your keycaps, I think there's a lot to like about this. Also as well, the kind of the translucent effect around the outside edge I think is actually pretty cool as well. Again, it's one of those things, beauty is always in the eye of the beholder, and I think personally if you have this you'll be pretty happy with it. Now if you want to, you can change the RGB lighting. You're probably going to be seeing some B-roll effects here, which I've done earlier. In fact, all you can do is press the function key and one of the other buttons on the keyboard. I think it was Q if I remember rightly. Let me see. Yes, that's right, I remembered it. Lots of keyboards to review, lots of key presses. So yeah, press the function button and press Q, and you can cycle through the various lighting styles, of which I think there's about 20 or so. And if you want to, you can choose a static color and you can change that as well. Again, if you refer back to the manual, it tells you exactly what all the buttons do, and possibly it might be worth, if you get this for the first time and it's not your daily driver, then you might want to have like a little cheat sheet just hidden away somewhere so you can refer to it, because it isn't always easy to remember what is used for what. But alternatively, you can, like I said, use the launcher app or QMK, and you can actually make modifications in a web browser. So whether you're using it on your normal desktop PC, maybe you've got it connected to your laptop, maybe you're using it at work or whatever, doesn't matter. You don't have to have the software installed on the PC. You can just go to the web app and take a look and make any modifications. In fact, let's go to the computer now and we'll take a look and see what we can do. Okay, so we're on our Windows 11 desktop here, just using the Chrome browser, and we're on the Keychron V4 ISO layout connection. And just to quickly show you, there are various versions available. So starting from around about £60, and also potentially you can get a bit of discount as well if you use the discount codes in the video description. So you've got the German version, the UK version, French, Nordic, Swiss, and a Spanish version. And you can have it in the Keychron K Pro browns, or potentially you can have it in the red switches. So depending on which one you like, the reds being a little bit quieter, the browns being a little bit more tactile. So that's an idea of what you can get. Obviously there's American versions as well if you go to keychron.com. Let's have a look at the launcher. So if you go over to the launcher, we'll click on connect. It will pick up your Keychron V4 keyboard, click on connect, and there you go. There is the layout of your keyboard. Now this supports the various layers. So I think it's layers 1 and 3, or 0 and 2 are the Mac one. Layers 1 and 3 are the Windows one. So this is your normal layout. If you press the function button, that becomes layer 2. And this is what the other keys would do. So if you're wondering where your delete key is, it's actually just above the function key. So you press function and the / button, and that becomes your delete key. And also you've got other things there like scroll, print, page up, page down. Also your arrow keys. So if you're not too sure where your arrow keys are, they're just right next to the delete key. Once you have the function button depressed. Also, you can do your RGB stuff, so you can turn your RGB off with the tab key, modes up and down, Q and A. You get the general idea. So that is your keyboard layout. So if you want to, if you're ever unsure what keys are which, you can just fire up the Keychron launcher and find out exactly which ones they are, if you don't want to have a little cheat sheet by the side of your desk. Also, you can choose things like media keys, you can choose macros, so you can assign a macro, up to 15 macros you can assign to one of the keys, or you can use the final layer. So there's actually an additional function key, which is, I think it's that one, yeah, right next to the end key. So that is your last function, so function layer 1. So then you can assign any of these keys which have got the down arrows on. They're basically unassigned. So you can assign any of these to macros, lighting, specials. You can do screenshots, calculator, all those kinds of things. Just the only thing is remembering what you've actually assigned to what. But again, you can always use the launcher app to see which is which. So that is how to do the key maps. You've also got your lighting. So if you head over into lighting, you can choose what color. So if you wanted a static color, you just want it to be white, choose that, and there you go, that'll be your static color. You've got a bunch of settings there, so what I say, 22 there are available. So you've got your type in heat maps, various different things which you've probably seen already from B-roll. Go into macros, so you can set up your macros. I've never ever used a macro in my life, so I'm not going to program one or do one. I have no idea how it's done, but I know there is the option to have up to 15 macros which you can create. Also, you've got your firmware update. So if there's a one to do, you can just click on connect and it'll do it. You also got the key test. So if you're messing around with switches and something's not quite working, you can use that to test your keys to make sure they all work appropriately. And also you can do your bug reporting. Also, you can go into settings and you can change your language, see device information, such as the version that you're actually on. Also, you can check out logs of the actual keyboard and the JSON, which I have no idea what this is. I'm guessing that's something to do with how it's programmed. But anyway, there you go. There's lots of stuff you can play with should you wish to. I think most people will probably be interested in the key maps and also the lighting. But just going to show you that you don't have to have any software installed. Just go to launcher.keychron.com and it will fire this up and you can connect your keyboard and make any changes you need to. Whether you're at home, at work, on a laptop, or wherever it is, you can just gain access to your keyboard software and make modifications to it. So there you go, there is a look at the Keychron V4 ISO 60% keyboard. Again, I really like this, and for me personally, I think I could get away with a 10 keyless. I do really like to have the arrow keys available to me, or potentially even a full-size version. But like I said at the very beginning, I know there's a lot of you out there that watch these videos which are really interested in the 60% because it's your thing, which I totally appreciate, hence why I'm doing a review. It isn't for me, it really isn't. 60% is a bit too small. Fine for gaming, but I think for general use for me, also being a left-hander, it's nice to be able to use my mouse in my left hand and also use the arrow keys on the right-hand side of the keyboard, but that's me. This is probably going to be right down to you, hence probably why you've found this video. Or maybe you're one of our subscribers and you're watching it just to support the channel, of which we really do appreciate it. And obviously, if you're a supporter of the channel and you want to help support us even further, then head over to the Keychron website from the links in the video description and have a look. You never know, there may be something which floats your boat, whether it's a keyboard, whether it's a mouse, or one of their other accessories, or maybe you just want to buy some new switches or keycaps. We've got a lot to choose from, and also you potentially can take advantage of the discount code listed in the video description. But anyway, overall, I think for a keyboard, which I actually don't particularly like in terms of I wouldn't use it long term because of the small size of it, I think it's a fantastic construction quality. Considering this is made of ABS plastic, you would never believe it in a million years. It just feels so strong and so sturdy, and there's basically kind of no flex to it at all. I'm really straining there and it's barely moving, so it's been made exceptionally well, as are pretty much all Keychron products these days. Be honest with you, a little while back Keychron did go through a stage where some of their QC wasn't quite up to scratch, but I'm happy to say of all the stuff that we've tested and I've seen over the last few months, like I say, this is fantastic, and their build quality is absolutely exceptional. No problems, no faults, no flaky bits, just very, very good products at very reasonable prices, I think. But what I think about it isn't important, what you think about it is. So let us know in the comment section, is this the sort of thing you'd go for? And tell me, actually, in the comment section, let me know, what is your favorite keyboard layout? Let me know, is it full size, 60%, maybe 65%, 75%, 10 keyless? You tell me in the comment section, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. So I think that's going to wrap this one up. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.